Hello, and welcome to day 5 of the Loving the Hell Out of Yourself Intentional Self Love Challenge. Today, we will focus on self compassionate language. So, I want you to get something to write with, and I want you to, answer the following questions. What types of things do you typically criticize yourself for? And you may want to think about things like your appearance, career, relationships, parenting, and the like. Next question. What language do you use with yourself when you notice a flaw or a mistake? And I will give you some examples here. A few years back, I used to be really hard on myself. And I noticed the language I used with myself was not the same language that I would use for the people I loved. So when I would make a mistake, my self talk would sound something like, "You are so dumb. How can you be so stupid?" So I want you to consider what your self talk is like when you notice a flaw or mistake. How do you speak to yourself, whether it's out loud or in your head? And lastly, how could you reframe your language to be more kind, supportive, and understanding? To remember you are only human and to acknowledge things as they are without blowing them out of proportion. And I'll give you another example. Back when I used to, have negative self talk and I would call myself dumb or stupid, it would be over the most minuscule things. Like I would honestly forget if I turned off the oven and I would have to walk back to the kitchen and the oven would be off. I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, you're so dumb. And I had to reframe that language and say things like, you were just being sure. You wanted to be safe for you and your family. Sometimes you're forgetful because you don't get a lot of sleep when you have a newborn. Those things made me put my experience into perspective. It made me look at myself as a human, and I was allowed to not be so harsh with myself. I was able to describe what was happening without judging myself. So that's what I want to encourage you to do. Thank you so much for joining me for day 5 of the challenge.